La 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 la.
Summer has officially ended, and you can tell by the days getting shorter and the nights getting a lot colder that a new season has approached. While I miss the warmth of the summer, I'm looking forward to experiencing the next season here in my new home. A few weeks ago, my oldest friend, who I've known since kindergarten, came to visit me for the first time, and we went on a hike. We wanted to go swimming in this creek that is close to my house, but is also unbelievably cold because it is glacier water. I honestly really had to push myself to go in, but I'm so glad I did because while it was slightly painful at first, it also felt incredibly reviving. I think it's good to sometimes do things that are a little bit uncomfortable. I also continued with the renovations of the powder room, which has been taking so much longer than I had anticipated. However, now I've finally gotten all the truly difficult parts out of the way, and now the project seems a lot less scary to me. It used to give me such a bellyache when I was renovating because I didn't really know what I was doing, and so I always had to push myself to get the work done for the day because a part of me didn't want to go ahead and do it because I was afraid I would mess up or do something wrong. But now that most of the stuff that overwhelmed me is done, I feel like I can actually go ahead and really enjoy the process. No, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. Come on.
Everyone's gone, you're still random. Suppose back there, suppose
It's really cold out today and I want to make a dough, and I'm afraid that if I don't heat the house that the dough is not going to be able to rise because it's so cold out, and also I'm cold, so I want to make it a little bit more cozy right now. So this is my sourdough starter, and it's been going for a little over a week now. I decided to let my sourdough starter mature a little bit longer and instead use the discard to make sourdough scallion pancakes. I honestly have been more excited about the discard than actually making bread with it, and have since used it in a variety of baked goods. While the dough was resting, I decided to make some vegetable broth, which is something that I do around every few months. I keep a bag of vegetable scraps in my freezer, and once that bag is full, I will put those vegetable scraps in a big pot alongside some spices and salt, and I'll boil them. And then after several hours of simmering, you're left with this wonderful aromatic homemade broth, which I then just fill in some jars that keep well in the fridge for several weeks. But if I want to store them longer, I simply freeze them, and this way I always have some homemade broth on hand. I also preserved some tomatoes as well as some pepperonis from my garden. The last few weeks I've actually been preserving and canning something almost every second day. I'm really trying to make the absolute most of what my garden has given me, and I hope that when the winter comes I'll get to enjoy the fruits of my labor throughout the entire season, which is quite a long time here in the mountains. I didn't make large batches this year because I've been viewing this year as sort of a test year where I'll get to try out different combinations and recipes to see what I like, and next year I'll know what I actually ended up using and what I want to make more of and what I won't be making again. These sourdough scallion pancakes turned out so well. I just love that sour, tangy flavor that sourdough gives baked goods. And I definitely want to experiment more and more with particularly the discard, because it's such a great way to implement more probiotics into your diet in such an easy way, because you practically always have a dough that is ready in your fridge. I'm going on a hike with my neighbors today, and I'm a little bit nervous because it's gonna be the longest hike that I've ever done in my life. We're gonna be gone the whole day, and the only thing I packed is a pear and these mixed nuts. So, not a good idea, but I was not prepared for this. To be honest, I was feeling kind of guilty about going on this hike today, especially because yesterday I just spent time with my dad and we cooked together and we just had such a great time. And I didn't do any of the things that I had actually planned to do this weekend. Like, for example, finish the powder room. Finally finish the powder room because it's been taking me weeks to do it. And other to-dos that I just kind of didn't do any of this weekend, you know, and instead I'm running off to the mountains again. And I was feeling really bad about this until I realized that it's not procrastination, because I genuinely want to do the things that I'm supposed to do. Like, I genuinely want to finish the powder room, but I also want to go on this hike today because summer is ending and there's only going to be so much time left to do hikes like this. And also, now that my dad is visiting, I want to spend time with him. And so the more I thought about it, the more I actually realized it's not procrastination, it's just shifting my priorities to other things. And it's actually not something that I want to feel bad about, because I'm actually proud of myself for not prioritizing work, but instead choosing to spend time with some really great people. Recently, I also went camping for the very first time ever. Two of my friends came out and we went up to this mountain, or rather had initially planned to go all the way up. But we left a little too late, and eventually we realized that we wouldn't make it all the way up before the sun would go down. So we decided to camp in the woods halfway up the mountain instead. It turned into a bit of an adventure because we had to eventually pitch the tent in the dark with some flashlight, but lying underneath the stars that night and then waking up to one of the most beautiful sunrises was honestly one of the best experiences for me of the summer. You're not helping.
Ich schau jetzt mal grimmig.
Please.
Schau du mal grimmig.
You look confused. Like, what? Question mark.
Du bist süß. Eine Action-Schauspieler oder Schauspielerin.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
I know it.
Diesel. Diesel. No.